Hello and a very good evening. You are watching the YouTube channel of TOI Sports. We are back again with another episode of Beyond the Boundary. We'll start with some breaking news today. We won't dive deep into this discussion because there's nothing deep to discuss about. So, the ICC board met virtually today, very briefly, but no decision has been reached as far as the Champions Trophy is concerned. The impasse continues. Hybrid model tournament moving out of the Pakistan, what BCCI's stand is, what the Indian government stand is. Nothing has moved. It is what it was yesterday when we discussed the issue and the matter at length. So आज ज़्यादा टाइम उस पर हम वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे. आज हमारे पास और बहुत matters हैं discuss करने के लिए. And as always, we have a full panel today. We're joined by K. Srinivas Rao, Times of India Group Sports Editor, Dwaipan Datta, ace reporter from Chennai, and our very own Nitin Nayak joining us again with some stunning headlines from Mumbai. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Before we kind of start the discussion and the cricketing debates, which we always do, a gentle reminder to all our viewers, all our loyal fans. Kiran Kumar का already comment आ गया है. Subscribe कर दो यार. Take us to that 1 million mark very soon. We are getting there aggressively. थोड़ा T20 mode में सब bell icon click करो. Keep sharing our videos. I'm sure you're liking our content. Keep showering the love and keep subscribing our channel. Now let's move to cricket. Indian team in Canberra, as we said, we'll discuss today. Canberra, we'll force Nitin Nayak to give us more viral headlines today. But Shubman Gill, in a big boost to Team India before their practice game against the Prime Minister 11 tomorrow, a 2-day practice game which is scheduled to start tomorrow. Shubman Gill finally had a net session. He was batting without any visible discomfort. He also spoke at length in an interaction with the BCCI social media team, where he said that usko jo wo jerk tha, jo gripping issues he expected could happen, didn't happen. So all was well, but Abhishek Nair, the assistant coach, was very tight-lipped on his participation. He said we'll take the call on the morning of the game. So first I'll start with Srini. Srini, Shubman returning, fitness, good signs before the day-night test. I think if he plays tomorrow, only then he becomes eligible for selection. Otherwise, directly bina ping ball match practice ke khilana doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I know. I mean, बिना मैच प्रैक्टिस के खिलाना doesn't make sense. But यहाँ 11 का कॉम्बिनेशन है जो ऑलरेडी एक टेस्ट मैच खेला हुआ है. So what do you do about that? I always believe problem of plenty is a great thing to have.
Yeah.
And it's always a nice space to be in. But and it's great to have Shubman back. Australia is where I first where international cricket is concerned, first where I saw him, and that's where I actually began to really love what I was watching. And he was out of his comfort zone, put trial by fire kind of a thing when they sent him to Australia, last minute decision, changed him. He was essentially a middle order batsman, pushed him up the order, made him open. He kind of stuck around, proved his mettle out there, showed some promise. So always good to see Shubman coming back to that space. The question is, where do things stand from an Indian team perspective? And I am saying this as we move closer to the Adelaide Test and we start talking about the potential 11. Rohit and Shubman, these two names that I'm sure a
Yeah.
lot of discussion is going to happen around
I
them
think
and the Indian batting order.
that's what our thumb today suggests. It's going to be a big headache. We'll get there. We'll build up to the playing 11. We'll start talking about all the permutations and combinations. Didi, your thoughts? Shubman Gill batting now. There were speculations. It still isn't sure whether he'll be 100% for tomorrow's game or even Adelaide. He has just started batting. And people kind of tend to get carried away कि एक session के बाद he's match fit or match ready. They'll take baby steps with him because it's a long summer. It's a long summer down under. And you reckon they wouldn't rush him right now? Take it easy because you don't want to aggravate something which is not 100% fixed if it is not.
Sahil, I will contradict you on one point. That is, if he doesn't play this match, it is not necessarily true that he will not play the test match, because as this match goes on, he can do his own nets.
Okay.
So that thing is always there. Like, this is a competitive game where you will have to field, etc., and your batting stint will also be smaller because he hasn't got a longish stint. If he is fit, if he is holding his bat, there could be a scenario where he doesn't play this game but train with practice bowlers, gets ready, and then plays the test match. So that possibility still stays open, I think, because it is not a very big thing playing this match, because you may just get out in the second ball and you don't get a chance to
Yeah,
bat again. So
yeah.
so that option still stays open, and where he comes in, how he comes in, that probably you are saying we will discuss a little later what the combination
Yeah.
of the 11 should be. Yeah, but as far as I am concerned, he should be batting at number 5.
Number five, you are kind of seconding what Chiteshwar Pujara had said earlier in the
Yes.
day. He too felt that against the old ball, you probably give a stroke player like Shubman Gill. And now that you have KL Rahul doing what he did in the first test. But Nitin, I'll come to you. What's your take on this? I still kind of feel that you had mentioned the twilight period yesterday, and I kind of personally still feel सीधा मैच के अंदर अगर आप गिल को उतारोगे without that feel of the twilight period, which is going to be the moving period throughout the pink ball test, and considering how much Australia have dominated with this color of the ball, and considering our players sample size, not many have played. I did get that list which we were discussing yesterday, और वो पिंक बॉल दिलीप ट्रॉफी जो 2016 में हुआ था उसमें रोहित खेले थे, बट करंट लॉट में से कोई नहीं खेले. So exposure is not that great when it comes to this lot against the pink ball. So would you also be in favor of injecting Gill in the test match if at all he's 100%?
Yeah, if he's 100%, he should play. But he should, but again, he should bat at 5, as Vaipan has said. With Rahul, Rahul's position should not be disturbed now, and Rohit should bat
Okay.
at 3. I know it's not going to happen, but this is what I feel that should happen. And
Okay.
and I was just checking the weather forecast in Canberra for tomorrow. I think tomorrow's day is likely to be a
Rain.
washout. So,
Yeah,
so
rain,
this
rain.
so this 2 day game could just end up being a 1 day game, which can be an absolute farce. So
Yeah,
I would rather prefer the team to have a nice simulated center wicket practice, and or indoor practice even with with the pink ball, and see what happens after that. If
yeah,
If Gill can put in 4 5 solid sessions, without being in pain,
yeah.
um, and if maybe India can find a fielding position for him outside the slip, then he gets into the side.
Yeah, yeah. Srini, it's interesting, right? Before the test match, we were discussing so much about KL Rahul, and now as I'm just taking a cue from what Nitin said, ki KL Rahul shouldn't be disturbed from the top order. One test match has changed the complexion and mood of this Indian team and how we look at KL Rahul. We always had our reservations. We still want that consistency, but that knock would have done his confidence and the team's confidence in him a world of good. Both innings, not just one knock, both the innings.
No doubt about it. First inning, so he obviously, it was unlucky.
Yeah.
The second inning, great knock. I mean, initially, at least when both of them started, Yashasvi and KL, I mean, that was so an exemplary performance from the guy. And by the way, listen, I'll come to the knock later. The point is, regardless of the kind of criticism that KL drew, especially in the series against New Zealand at home, with when we lost 0-3,
Yeah.
outside of all that, the point is the case against him still stands. And, the way his batting order has been tinkered with in many ways, things have not been fair. I mean, he's been kind of pushed around lot. See, now look at it this way. I mean, we are admitting at one point that it was an exemplary performance from him, in the Perth Test match, in both the innings, not just the second, right?
Yeah.
And yet we know that he has to give up that space. And yet now we are like just praying that don't send him back down the middle order. At least just kind of don't tinker. Cheteshwar Pujara has to come out and spell it out that what, don't send him below number 3. You know, we are not doing this to any other batsman. Are we doing this to a Rohit Sharma? Are we doing this to a Virat Kohli? We are not even doing this to Pant and Yashasvi. And
Yeah.
overseas, KL has been a pretty good hand for us. Kind of. I mean, in the second innings in Perth, the way he stood, the way he kind of put his head down to the job and kind of went just about knocking, and kind of buying time. That is exactly what India had been missing, and it was so good to see him deliver on that front. So
Yeah.
at number 3, yes, he completely justifies that position. Technically, as Nitin said, completely right. Ideal circumstances, he should have once again walked out to open in the day and night test match in Adelaide alongside Yashasvi Jaiswal. Unfortunate, very unfortunate that can't happen. And again, I mean, no less for a batsman of the caliber of Rohit Sharma. Let's give it to Rohit. I've said this before the start of the series also. Rohit has been phenomenal with India, for India in red ball cricket, right?
Yeah,
The last two times that we qualified for the WTC final, those crucial series were, that against England and Australia in 2021 against England, and in 2023 against Australia. Rohit played those very valuable knocks. That century against England in Chennai in 21, the century against Australia in 23 in Nagpur. Those were very crucial knocks in India kind of gaining an upper hand in the series, and
yeah,
we making, punching up our way to get it to the WTC. So Rohit has been phenomenal.
yeah.
So no less a batsman than Rohit, for which KL has to kind of make that exception and move down the order. But that far is good. Don't tinker more than that. And again,
Yeah.
Shubman Gill, perfect fix in the middle order. I mean, kind of he just answers that question. And yeah, you have a very, very good squad once again.
Dwaipan, are you sure about that happening? Number five is one position I think Shubman hasn't batted in the longest format yet. Number three, number four, but number five, I know the old ball and all that jazz. There have been all those suggestions, but he's a designated number three, right? It's a position he asked for. It's a position he asked for. It's a position he got. It's a position he's trying to make his own by doing those consistent performances with the bat. It's a position where he came under a lot of fire before the England series, even during the England series, but performances there, he scored runs there. Do you think it will be a tad unfair to push him down the order? Or probably it will be better to have KL Rahul where he's supposed to play in the longer run for India in red ball cricket?
No, I don't think it will be unfair because given Gill's game, when there
Yeah,
is a bit of lateral movement, he
yeah,
is a slight suspect. As good a batsman that he is,
yeah,
he struggles a bit when the ball does move around. He's
yeah,
more of a timer, hand-eye player, plays
yeah,
beside the line, which is better when the ball does not move around too much. And
yeah,
the Kookaburra, the this and the pink ball, especially the new Kookaburra, it will move quite a bit. And
yeah,
your KL Rahul is the informed player who showed us that he can play the moving ball well in the first test. It was absolutely like it was he was playing against a fiery attack which was there to
yeah,
get him, and he managed that so well. So I
yeah,
think even from a technical point of view, let's not get into these emotional ideas of whether like वो वहां पे खेलता है इसीलिए खेलना चाहिए. No, we are in a desperate situation where we have to win all the matches to qualify for the WTC final. So
yeah,
here it should be a case of horses for courses, and in this case, I think Shubman Gill at number 5 is the best option because ball thoda purana ho jayega, and
yeah,
if he has to fire, his best chance is at number 5 at the moment. And he don't forget he is still a slightly short on cricket also. He's only 4 5 days of batting he will get.
yeah. Nitin bhai, I'll come to you now. Horses for courses is one approach we haven't really seen applied to Indian batting. Like we haven't seen, probably squads or 11s being formulated when it comes to conditions. It kind of tend to stick with batting orders, whether it's home or away. Very rarely have we seen a number three dropping down to number five or vice versa. I remember that 2001 series probably where Lakshman moved up the order, but that was because he had the weight of runs behind him in that one inning where he scored a half century or फिर ऊपर डाल दिया था. I'm sure you would remember those stats better. Horses for courses hasn't applied when it comes to batting, but now are we kind of seeing that shift in trend because that desperation to win is higher than what it was probably before, just because of the WTC points, complications, and calculations?
See, this is Rohit Sharma's chance as a leader to
Yeah,
pay it forward, kind of thing. When he was struggling to find a place for
yeah,
himself in the Test team,
yeah,
Virat and Ravi Shastri did their utmost best to give
yeah,
him a position which could suit him. They moved him to five, they moved him to six, they moved him to four, they batted
yeah,
him at three. Eventually, they gave him a chance at the opening position, and look what happened to his Test career. And I think
Yeah,
this is his chance as a leader now to do the same with KL Rahul. Give him the
yeah,
opportunity to bat at the top and tell him
yeah.
that, boss, you're opening in all the five tests now for what you've done in Perth, unless injury strikes. So this is his chance to pay it forward. Let's do it.
Okay. So you're suggesting Rohit at three then?
No, Rohit can open with Rohit at three and Shubman
Okay.
at five. So
Okay.
he
Srini,
bites the bullet. He bites the bullet
okay.
and goes a step down.
No, I have this very interesting comment, and I'll take आप तीनों का a very quick opinion on this. Considering the way Rohit has batted, even in red ball cricket in the last 10-12 months, I'll take that sample size. The home test, the England series. Yes, that 100 in Rajkot was a more patient and laborious one because wickets fell early. He had to kind of drop anchor with Ravindra Jadeja there, and then the runs and the feet started moving better. But do we expect the Rohit Sharma of the old, that UKIT or reference, which again and again comes, where he was leaving the ball beautifully, playing it late, very close to the body? Shouldn't you expect him to move to that gear for this series, or you expect him to play the way he has been playing all formats now? That intent to get on top of the bowling, will it work against this Australian attack? A very quick word from the three of you. What kind of approach do you expect from Rohit? Srini, 1 second, you're mute, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, I'll be very honest. I'm not a, I mean, the so-called intent, that word, I'm not a great fan of that word. Okay. And especially in red ball cricket, that intent has to show without showing. Intent is when you take body blows and stand there and come what may, you don't move. That is intent. Intent is not when you go after the ball and think that you can blast a six or a four. And we saw how badly it misfired. You could do it against Bangladesh, and when you
Yeah.
tried doing it against New Zealand, you saw what happened.
Yeah.
Right? So I am not really a fan. Now coming back specifically to this question, can Rohit have a game now to survive 20-30 overs with the new ball? I do believe he does.
Okay.
I do believe he does, and I didn't give the UK tour reference. I gave the reference of UK traveling to India, not India traveling to UK.
No, no, I meant the comment
2021.
made by the viewer, not your comment. I'm sure you meant the home
Yeah, no, no,
series.
I'm reading this question. Don't give the
Yeah,
2021 UK tour reference. There was no UK tour reference. I was referring to UK England's tour of India, the Chennai
yeah,
Test match. And 4 years old, yeah, I mean, things change. Things change overnight. Rohit, the Test match batsman for me, has been a classic improvement. See, I'll tell you something about Rohit Sharma, okay?
yeah,
And I can say this with some amount of authority because I've tracked this guy for like what, 18-20 years now. See, the thing with Rohit, ever since the start of his career, the thing with Rohit is he could have easily 5 years ago taken the call that I'm not interested in red ball cricket, and nobody was actually taking him to the cleaners for it. He didn't have to. He was still the white ball giant that he had become. In T20, his place was secure. At some point, had Virat stepped down, the captaincy was his for the taking. Obviously because of the success that he had found in the IPL, and again his stature in the IPL had grown leaps and bounds with the success that MI had found. Right?
yeah,
Anybody in that position, it's very easy. It's extremely easy to think that my life is done. He was 30 plus, right?
yeah,
He could have gone on, thought about the money, not like playing another test match or playing another border Gavaskar series is going to bring him another $1 million, right?
yeah,
So from that standpoint, it is not about anything else but his hunger to kind of make that statement before he goes away, that I had this in me and I made an effort to put my best foot forward and say that, I did my bit as a red ball cricketer. That hunger is what made Rohit, kind of completely channel his game, across these filters, across these formats that we talk about,
yeah,
and give utmost importance to red ball cricket. So, and by the way, with Rohit, now there's something about Rohit. I can tell you, it's a visual thing. When things work in Rohit's favor, he looks so beautiful. When things don't work in Rohit's favor, na, you as a viewer can get extremely irritated and say, "Ki ye kya kar raha hai, yaar? What the hell is wrong with him?" And that can happen all the time when you watch Rohit. When he gets going, you are like, "Oh my God, vintage Rohit." And when he doesn't get going, it's that irritating thing about watching Rohit and what's wrong with him. Even he understands this actually.
yeah,
So all of that put together, coming down to this question, does he have it? I'm nobody sitting here under my air conditioner in this room thinking or making a statement, does Rohit have it in him or does Rohit not have it? I am a nobody to say that. But what I can say one thing for sure, that in this last leg of his career, in the sun, it's a twilight of his career, moving into the sunset of his career, I would like to believe that he has the hunger to lead India into another World Test Championship final once again. I'm not saying that will happen, and I'm saying New Zealand was probably the biggest test setback of his career, especially as captain. Pathetic performance from India. He should take the blame for it. If India doesn't qualify for WTC, he's as responsible as anyone else. Having said that, I'm nobody to judge whether he's good enough or not. I'm saying last WTC final, I will still trust him to be the cricketer that he is.
Okay. Dwaipan, I'll put you in a spot there then. Muscle memory, often cricketers talk about muscle memory. They keep doing those drills, shadows over and over again just to align their feet, align their backlift and everything. Now, Rohit's muscle memory tells us that for the last 12 months, he has been seeing the ball, hitting the ball. But this could be a different challenge altogether. So, how does you have been tracking a lot of players, domestic, international. You've seen them making those changes, those subtle changes, those big changes. Now, a big change is required from Rohit Sharma. If at all India have to do well, and just taking a cue from the way Jaiswal and KL Rahul kind of did what they did in the second innings in Perth. First 10, 15 overs, watchful, 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 and then you find the ball and hit the ball. Is that template going to be comfortable for Rohit Sharma, who has been just whacking it in the last 12 months?
Yes, actually, the thing is, the worrying thing about Rohit Sharma going into this series was even in the New Zealand series. If you see, of the
Yeah,
six dismissals, four were against pacers.
yeah,
In a series where it was completely dominated by spinners, he got out to pace bowlers four times. So that
yeah,
was the area of worry for all of us. But
yeah,
then, just as it is a worry for all of us, it must have been a bigger worry for him also. And
yeah,
even when he was expecting his wife to have the kid, he was training, he was practicing in Mumbai. He has
yeah,
gone there well before, well on time for the second test. He is practicing against with the pink ball. So I attach a lot of importance to these training sessions, because because when on tour, or I follow these training sessions with a lot of intent, and these are very intense training sessions.
yeah,
So he himself will know where he stands after these training sessions, and I think he will put in that effort to get it right. And as you are saying, he, I think, like, again, I am not the right person to judge what he should do, but then yes, probably patience is the right word. He can let a few go. He can uh, he can be slightly patient in his approach to
okay,
get the runs, as is the case with openers. There is
okay,
no harm, or there is no harm in grafting. Even if it doesn't look good, it is still
yeah,
fine as long as there are runs on the board. Rohit
yeah,
Sharma, I think he has he knows that in his mind, that at the end of the day it's the runs that matter and not how it is scored, especially at this phase of his career.
yeah. Nitin bhai, your thoughts on this? Not making you suggest Rohit to do what, but just overall the way you look at the way he has been batting and what kind of approach could be ideal. Let's put it this way: what kind of approach could be ideal for Team India in the next 3, 4 matches?
Yeah, wait and watch initially, like he
Yeah,
did during that tour in England in 2021.
yeah,
Played very, very close to his body, hardly, left very beautifully.
yeah,
And I think the Australian pitches, what he was doing in the one innings that he played well in Bangalore,
yeah,
where he almost unfortunately middled the ball onto his stumps,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
of
Played on.
what was, yeah, was it Glenn Phillips or Ejaz Patel? I don't know.
Achal Patel, I
But
think. Yeah.
yeah, Ejaz Patel. Yeah. I think in that innings he played the best, and he played the proper opener's role. Because
Yeah,
why did he do that? Because he could trust the pitch.
yeah.
His approach changes when the wicket starts to do something dicey. He
Okay.
does not have the confidence to trust his defense. And but if the wickets are true, as I expect them to in Adelaide and Brisbane and Melbourne and Sydney, then I think you will see the old Rohit Sharma and bat in a traditional manner. And Adelaide, I think, should suit him. Short, square boundaries. I think you will see the Rohit Sharma pull shot again there.
Okay, so let's take some questions before we kind of touch some bowling bit. It's good that Rohit Sharma is getting a practice match. Okay, Raj Thombare is suggesting that first team was selected by Rohit only. Rohit didn't have any, by Bumrah. Rohit didn't have any say in that 11. It's a completely different team. Okay, this is interesting. It's been a history that Indian Test captaincy transition has always happened in Australia tours. So will we see new Test captain by the end of this Australia tour? Okay, still early days in the Australia tour. We are 1-0 up. Quick yes and no before I move to the next set of comments. Srini, you had said earlier it's not happening before England. Do you stick to that? Transition, phasing out, people going out.
No, it's not. It's not. And not even the right time to even talk about.
Okay, Dwaipan.
No, no, like this WTC cycle, Rohit will obviously finish it, but win or lose, uh, I don't know if Shini has some extra information about it, but I think in the next WTC cycle, it's better to start with a new captain because we will not have Rohit till the end of that WTC cycle.
Yeah. Nitin bhai, you?
Yeah,
Yes, go on.
Rishabh Pant, next WTC cycle.
Okay, this is interesting. Now, this opens up a new discussion point, which I hadn't pointed out. Rishabh Pant, the new captain. Srini, you have been always very excited with Rishabh Pant and the prospect of him leaving India, at least in red ball cricket. I know you have reservations when it comes to his T20 batting, T20 form,
Big time.
but
Big time.
but red ball, he's a different beast in red ball cricket,
No
right? And
doubt. No,
he has that thinking brain, the way he keeps chatting around. So you sense that game sense. This guy is beyond his years right now. He's very young, but understanding and comprehension of the game, how he gauges the game from behind the stumps.
mind moves in two directions. What can happen, what should happen.
Okay,
So
so let's
you know,
take
kind
the
of.
let's take can and should both.
So if you ask me, should, yeah, why not? Yeah, Rishabh can be considered. He's like kind of for me, he's the most inspiring story in Indian cricket. Everything that's happened in his life,
Yeah,
everything outside of cricket, the way he's made his comebacks, he's a champion. The boy is an absolute champion. He's quite a story that kind of children growing up across the ages can hear. Having said that, will it happen? I don't see Rishabh Pant ever becoming the captain.
okay,
Why? Again, that's a personal view. I don't see Rishabh being given the captaincy. You will ask me who exactly. So I don't see captaincy in Test cricket changing as long as there is a need for Jasprit Bumrah to rest now. So the
okay,
moment Rohit is not available, automatically it goes to Jasprit Bumrah as long as Jasprit Bumrah says I need a break. And that is why when Jasprit Bumrah's name was first considered as Test captain internally, I mean, I used to. There was a time when I used to put everything on Twitter, but then I kind of began to put a filter later on. So the thing is that it's not the first time that Jasprit Bumrah was discussed as a Test captain. He was discussed as Test captain earlier also. The
yeah,
reason I said that Jasprit Bumrah cannot be your full-time Test captain is because as a cricketer he cannot play all Tests. You can't play him at Test matches at home. Many of the Test matches at home. You run the risk of when do you give him a break? Then he'll play IPL, he'll play World Cups, he'll play Test matches at home, abroad, everywhere. When do you give a bowler like Jasprit Bumrah enough rest? And
yeah,
you've got to rest him from any of this cricket, then you can't consider him a full-time captain. But that said, now after what we've seen and the way BCCI and selectors, etc., think, and the stature he has now as India's MVP, is most possibly, we in India, we tend to kind of go mostly by the popular choice, right? Not by the intelligent choice. So if it was an intelligent choice, I would pick a 23, 24-year old as captain and then, kind of give him 2 to 3 years to settle down, a year or two to settle down and then grow with the team. But
yeah.
then we will go by the popular choice, and popular choice will be Jasprit Bumrah. Is Jasprit Bumrah? That's not going to change. I don't even see any change in captaincy until the tour of England gets over. Until then, it is Rohit's this thing. But if for some reason there has to be a change, you expect Bumrah to carry
Bumrah, Rishabh Pant, Shubman Gill. I'll just add another name for you, Dwaipan, because अब options की बात हो ही रही है. Gill को भी डाल देते हैं. Designated white ball, vice captain. What's your thought?
Mm,
Captaincy and all that jazz.
See, the way we are going, Jasprit Bumrah played four test matches. For four test matches at home, two against Bangladesh and two against New Zealand back to back. So we
Yeah,
are guessing he will play the games. So we should. I think if this transition has to happen, I think it's better to give Bumrah the captaincy because he is playing game. He is playing test matches. It is not that he is resting in all the entire India leg of the series, and have a strong vice captain. The strong
yeah.
vice captain can be either Rishabh Pant or Shubman Gill. I think it should be Rishabh Pant because but if Shubman Gill has a fantastic series in Australia, then things can change. Then things can be different, just as it had happened for Saurav Ganguly in that 99 2000. Like he had a great uh, uh,
One
try
day series.
series where he
Yeah.
scored two centuries, and that made
Yeah.
him the captain out of nowhere. So if Shubman Gill has a series of like that, then maybe as a strong vice captain. But I think if the captaincy has to change, yeah, and if Jasprit Bumrah is playing the games, at least the 90% of the test matches, then he should be made the captain, and there should be a transition.
Okay, before I move to Nitin Bhai, just another gentle reminder to all our viewers, some 7,000 of you watching us from Twitter, YouTube, Facebook. Whoever is on Twitter, please go to TY Sports YouTube channel, hit the subscribe button, click the bell icon so that you'll be notified for all our evening shows. Time थोड़ा ऊपर नीचे होता रहता है तो सब्सक्राइब करना ऊपर नीचे मत करिए. नितिन भाई, your final word on captaincy thing. Are we in a position to kind of start thinking about it yet?
We should, if we have not already. I think if this series goes pear shaped from here in terms of batting form as well as team results, then I
Okay.
think they will be looking at a new captain even for England, because they would not want a struggling captain and a struggling team
Yeah.
um to go to England, especially if now that if because if we have a poor series,
Yeah.
and then we won't qualify for WTC, so automatically we'll be going with a new structure for the next WTC cycle, and I think then it's good that if we look beyond Rohit Sharma for the next WTC cycle, and I think because Rishabh is probably would play longer than Bumrah, so
Yeah.
I would give the captaincy to Rishabh Pant, and tell Bumrah that this is the way we are going. I know he desires the captaincy, he wants the captaincy, he's proved himself in Perth, but I
Yeah.
would still prefer him to be the champion bowler that and a once in a generation bowler that he is.
very true.
No, I think more than the desire, I kind of sense that desperation in his tone for captaincy now. The way he spoke at a media event last year or this year probably. वो जब वो बोला कैप्टनसी के बारे में I kind of sense that he's so desperate to become the captain, and the way he was marshalling the troops in Perth, that kind of showed कि होता है ना कई बार, like you have that sweet day for your kid where you give them the candy and they're like so desperate to gulp it in one go. वो desperation जसप्रीत बुमराह में दिखा, not a bad desperation, I meant good desperation, that he wants something so badly. So I don't know how well that will sit with him कि अगर उसको कोई बिठा के समझाए कि पंत लंबा खेलेगा आप, I highly doubt that to happen. But now that we are discussing Jasprit Bumrah, I'll just quickly touch upon. Yeah, Ashwin, you want to say something?
नो नो नो, आई एम सेइंग ये, जहाँ पे तुमने ये बोल दिया ना, कोई बिठा के समझाए, वहाँ ऐसा कोई इंडियन क्रिकेट में पैदा ही नहीं हुआ जो बिठा के समझाने के वाली काम करे. अगर ऐसा कोई होता तो इंडियन क्रिकेट वुड हैव बीन इन अ फार बेटर स्पेस. यहाँ बिठा के समझाने के लिए किसी का टाइम नहीं.
अभी खैर इंडियन क्रिकेट में तो बहुत कुछ होने वाला है आफ्टर द फर्स्ट वीक ऑफ डिसंबर. लेट्स सी हाउ दैट अनफोल्ड्स. बट ऑन दैट नोट, जसप्रीत बुमराह, लेट्स switch our focus briefly to the bowlers. Last 10-12 minutes of discussion, I'll keep it short as I promised. Abhishek Nair had a discussion with the reporters after the Canberra net session, and he spoke about Harshit Rana, touched upon him. There was a story in Times of India where how Harshit Rana moved to Amit Bhandari and kind of rediscovered his bowling mojo, lost weight, and what all happened with him in the Delhi dressing room, how he kind of found that bowling fire in him. Now, there could be that call, right? I'll quickly take an opinion from the each of you. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj, Harshit Rana clicked well as a unit, but I've been saying that we are spoilt for choices. We have very different fast bowlers who, if played smartly on different Australian surfaces, could actually do the trick for you. They heard us. They did that. They did that in Perth. Played the right seamer in Harshit Rana. That first inning spell, probably yes, it was helped by what Jasprit Bumrah did, but he was better suited for those conditions. But with the pink ball, will Harshit Rana be that penetrative, or would the three of you, any one of you, I'll ask each one of you, be tempted to explore the option of a Akash Deep or a Prasidh Krishna with the pink ball? I'll start with Srini, move to Nitin, and then to Dwaipan.
Why correct something that's not, why fix something that's not broken, kind of a thing.
Just considering the conditions and the
No,
pink
I
ball
mean,
bit.
considering the conditions, also, I'm saying,
Okay.
considering the conditions, considering the form, the pace that I saw, the energy that I saw, the line that I saw, these bowlers kept from every aspect. I'm not going to even touch or think of touching Harshit Rana. For me, he stays in the squad. For me, even let's say if Adelaide doesn't work out for him, that doesn't mean that I kind of raise a question in the ahead of the third test. I pursue, giving somebody as that young, making his debut, big series, a tour as big as Australia, putting
Yeah.
confidence in a boy is everything, and
Yeah.
it's great for him that he's making his debut against under a captain who's got, who's obviously a legendary fast bowler himself. And these things, add to the confidence. It's like you're part of a coterie that you automatically, I mean, under the captain itself, you're part of a coterie that's going to like kind of function independently. So from that
Yeah.
standpoint, it must have done Harshit Rana's confidence such a world of good. And phenomenal, the line that he maintained throughout in his spells against Australia.
Yeah.
Forget the fact, kind of what success he saw, etc. But I really wasn't. Before the test match, this very show, I voted for Akashdeep.
Yeah.
This same question which you had kind of, and I because I had seen Akashdeep, and I honestly I hadn't seen Harshit Rana in red ball cricket, so I
Yeah.
had no idea what to expect. So once I saw him bowl in the Perth test match, now my mind is fixed on Harshit Rana. Now I don't want to move from him, and I hope that should be the case, and I think that should be.
Nitin, your thoughts on this? Should we just keep that left eye on Akashdeep just for the ping ball game, considering there could be more movement during the twilight period you keep insisting upon? Or do you think better stick with tried and tested?
No, they should look at the surface number one.
Yeah.
If Because what happens is the curator at Adelaide generally has kept excess grass to keep the
Yeah.
lacquer on the pink ball. Otherwise, if the pitch and the playing surface gets a bit abrasive, then
Yeah.
sighting that pink ball gets a bit difficult.
Yeah.
So if he leaves considerable amount of grass, then I would be tempted to play Akashti. But if it's going to be more of a hit the deck surface, then
Yeah.
I would prefer to go in with Harshit Rana.
Okay, horses for courses when it comes to bowling, as has always been the case. But there's a very interesting comment. I'll take Dwaipan's view on this because we on this very show had predicted that Ashwin is not likely to play at least before the Brisbane test. Now there's a comment that Ashwin will play ahead of Washington for the pink ball test. I'll take your thoughts on this, Dwaipan, and also whether you think there's a need to tweak the fast bowling combination, just keeping the conditions and the pink ball in mind.
I will answer this first. I do not think Ashwin will play ahead of Washington Sundar for the simple reason that Washington Sundar is far, far has gives you far more assurance with the bat.
Yeah,
He showed that. And in Australia, in situations like this, in pitches like this, they are playing the spinner not on the quality of spin bowling. They are
yeah,
looking at the spinner as a restrictive option who bowls
yeah.
12, 14, 15 overs a day and gives some runs with the bat. So, from that
Okay.
count, I think, because and Washington Sundar was a moderate success in the first test. I do not
Yeah,
see them changing Washington Sundar simply because at the present moment he is the best batter among the three: Ashwin, Jadeja, and Washington.
makes
Yes, and
sense.
that is the first thing. And about Akashdeep and Harshit Rana, I would say, like, it depends entirely on the dynamic of the of the pink ball. Like, if how well these two bowlers are handling the pink ball in practice. That's what the team
Okay.
management should see, and the pitch, etc. Because pink ball to some extent is unknown quantity for Indian bowlers also. They do not really bowl with the pink ball, so it is
Yeah,
important to control and have that necessary control. So these three, four training sessions should be important, and whoever is bowling the best should play. If it is
yeah,
Akashdeep, it should be Akashdeep. And Harshit Rana will obviously come back. I am not saying he will not play this test match, but if he
yeah,
doesn't play this test match, he will definitely come back going forward, because we have places like Gaba, etc., where we need a bowler like that.
yeah. So let's take our last comment from our Mr. Loyalist Ravi Shankar Kumar. Don't know why Indian sports media are discussing so much. Everyone should remember, and he says that with authority. Everyone should remember we won last match. We didn't lose last match. No need to create a mess on Rohit Sharma place. He will open. Of course, we are not creating a mess on Rohit Sharma place. We are just discussing for you to share your opinion, Ravi Shankar Kumar. So please keep doing that. On that note, it's time to call it an evening. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us for yet another episode of Beyond the Boundary on TOI Sports. Another gentle reminder for 8,500 of you watching right now. None of you have subscribed yet. Please do that, because we will be motivated enough only to come over and over again if you keep subscribing. We'll join you again on Monday. Tomorrow, India will take on the Prime Minister 11 in Canberra. Fingers crossed that the weather stays clear and there's proper 2 days of cricket, because India desperately need that, because they are short on pink ball practice. Action then moves to Adelaide for the second test under lights. So keep watching TOI Sports. We'll keep bringing you more updates from the world of cricket and beyond. So keep watching. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you.